They called her the beast in the sack, but the giant cowboy found his heart inside it. Dry Creek, Arizona Territory, spring of 1871. Dust rose like smoke under the noon sun, settling in the folds of skirts and the creases of tired hands. The market was alive, a roar of bartering voices, braying mules and boots scraping dirt. In the middle of the square, a rickety platform stood, and on it knelt a girl, shackled, still. A burlap sack covered her head down to her collarbones, turning her into something less than human. Her dress was torn and caked with mud. "She's a curse," spat an older woman, gray hair twisted tight. "A punishment from God." "That's no daughter of mine," said the man beside her, her brother. "Oh, born wrong. Better off gone." The crowd murmured, "Curious, cruel." Children pointed. "Curious, cruel." Children pointed. No one stepped forward. Then came the thunder of hooves. A black stallion, powerful and gleaming with dust, charged down the street. The rider slowed. Tall, broad, coat faded, hat pulled low. Wes Remington. His name passed through the crowd like a shiver. He dismounted in one fluid motion, eyes cutting through the noise. "How much?" he asked quietly. "You want her?" The man sneered. "I'll pay for her." "I don't buy people." "Then keep walking, stranger." "This ain't your—" Wes stepped closer. "I make it my business when I see a person treated like a hound." "She ain't human," the woman shrieked. The man swung a cane, but Wes caught it midair, twisted and snapped it in half. 3 young thugs rushed forward. Wes dropped 2 with swift, hard blows and stared the third down until he ran. Silence fell. He knelt beside the girl, his shadow falling over her chains. Without a word, he lifted her, careful, steady. Her head rested against his chest as the chains clinked softly. "Where are you taking her?" someone called. He didn't answer. He swung into the saddle, the girl in his arms, and rode out through the parting crowd. "A crazy bastard," someone muttered. Maybe another whispered. "He's the first one to see she ain't no beast." The Remington Ranch lay 10 miles from town, tucked between low ridges and sagebrush. By sundown, Wes carried her into his modest house. Wood walls, a stone hearth, the smell of bread and smoke. 3 children blinked at him from the table. "Who's that?" asked Caleb, barefoot and freckled. Barefoot and freckled. "She's our guest," Wes said. "Treat her kind." The twins, wide-eyed, whispered, "Is she a witch?" "Oh, no," he said sharply. "And don't say that again." He laid a blanket by the hearth and helped the girl sit. She moved like a frightened animal, silent beneath the burlap. That night, Wes brought her stew. She didn't touch it until everyone had gone to bed. Days passed. She stayed in that corner, quiet, watchful. The children grew used to her, their fear melting into curiosity. They played near her, drawing with crayons. One day the twins giggled as they sketched on her burlap sack, flowers and smiling suns. Then, laughing, they tugged at it. "Don't," she whispered. Too late. The sack slipped. The children froze. Half her face was smooth and soft, but the other half, a ruin of burned skin, twisted and scarred. The contrast was shocking. One twin gasped. Ida, that was her name, scrambled for the sack, pulled it tight again, trembling. And then she saw Wes in the doorway. He had seen everything. He said nothing. No pity, no disgust, just a steady, unreadable gaze. Then he turned and walked away. That night she didn't cry, but she didn't sleep either. In the morning, Caleb left a drawing by her blanket, a smiling stick figure with a red line on one side of its face, still smiling. She touched it gently, folded it, and tucked it into her dress. For the first time, she looked out the window. That evening, Wes sat sharpening his knife by the fire. "You hungry?" he asked. She hesitated, then nodded. He ladled stew into a bowl, brought it to her, knelt down. When she reached for it, her fingers brushed his. "You don't have to talk," he said, "but maybe you've gone too long without anyone listening." Silence. "I don't think you're a monster," he added softly. "I think you're hurt." Her voice, when it came, was a whisper. "My name is Ida." "I was burned when I was 5. My mother said it was my fault, said I ruined myself. My father made me wear the sack, said it was better for everyone. She set the bowl down. I don't wear it to hide the scar. I wear it to hide the shame they gave me." But the kids were surprised, not scared, Wes said gently. Kids learn cruelty from adults. She breathed out, shaky, fragile. "I've never said this much to anyone." "Maybe no one ever deserved to hear it," Wes replied. He offered his hand. She didn't take it, but she let her fingers rest in his palm. "You don't need perfect," he said quietly, "just real." That night she finished her stew without shaking. Spring crept over the land. Etta began to move differently, rising before dawn, stoking fires, mending clothes, mending clothes. Her silence became peace instead of fear. The children adored her, calling her a Miss Ida. She read to them at night, her voice soft and careful. They listened like the world depended on it. One evening, Caleb handed her a note. The letters were uneven, smudged with effort. You don't have to take off the sack to be pretty. What you do for us shows you are good. Ida's throat closed. Tears welled. A thank you, she whispered, pulling the boy into her arms. You're the first person who ever said that. That night she lay awake, hope blooming in her chest. At dawn, Wes stepped outside and froze. She stood on the porch, hair braided over her shoulders, sack gone. The scars glinted in sunlight, but her gaze was steady, proud. He didn't speak, just nodded once. Something had healed. Word spread through Dry Creek like wildfire. The Abeista was walking barefaced again, living with Wes Remington. By week's end, her parents arrived with a paid-off lawman. Wes met them at the gate, calm as stone. We're here for the girl, Frank Breyer snarled. She ain't hiding, Wes said. She's living. She's ours, the mother hissed. Hey, danger. Wes's voice stayed level. The only danger is people who can't see past what's on a face. Frank lunged. Wes caught his wrist, twisted it until the man dropped to his knees. You think strength is chains, Wes said. It's not. It's not. The gate creaked. Ida stepped out. No sack, no fear. Her scar glowed beneath the sun. Her mother gasped. If I was ever a monster, Ida said, it's because you made me one. Her voice didn't tremble. I'm not yours anymore. You don't get to name me. Wes stepped beside her. You think we're done here? They left without another word. Ida stood tall, shaking but free. That evening, the storm rolled in hard from the north. The wind screamed, tearing shingles loose. Wes was in town helping reinforce the levee. Ida stayed with the children. When the windows shattered, she shielded them with her body. A beam struck her shoulder, but she didn't move, just held them tighter until the storm passed. When Wes burst through the door, drenched and wild-eyed, she was still kneeling, arms around the kids, bleeding but steady. He dropped beside her. We're fine. He stared at her, chest heaving. Then he wrapped her in his arms, voice rough. I thought I'd lost the part of me that could love, he whispered. Maybe God sent you to remind me how. She said nothing, just held on. Outside, the rain softened. Outside, the rain softened. Inside, they sat in silence, surrounded by warmth and the scent of wet earth. By morning, the sky was clean and gold. On the clothesline hung the burlap sack. She took it down, folded it, and placed it inside the chest. We used to think this kept me safe, she said to Wes. But it only kept me hidden. I'll keep it. Not to wear, but to remember I'm not it anymore. He nodded. That was enough. Later that day, wagons rolled up the road. Neighbors came with bread, jam, quilts. No one stared. No one whispered. No one whispered. An old woman handed Ida wildflowers. I used to think you were a monster, she said softly. And now I see you're a miracle. Ida blinked back tears. At sunset, Caleb shyly brought her a small linen bundle. Inside was a handkerchief stitched in clumsy red thread. Miss Ida of a... She dropped to her knees, pulled the children close, laughing through tears. For the first time, she smiled without hiding. Weeks later, spring lay gentle over the ranch. The land shimmered with grass and new life. Wes was in the pasture teaching Caleb to notch an arrow while the twins chased each other through wildflowers. Ida stepped out with a basket of biscuits, her white dress glowing in the morning sun. Her scarred face was bare, unashamed. Wes walked to her, sat beside her on the porch, and opened a small wooden box. Inside was the folded sack, and beside it a plain silver ring etched with a running horse. He won't ask you to forget what came before, he said. But maybe we live now like two people with nothing left to hide. She looked at the ring, then at him. You found your heart inside that sack, she whispered. So did I, he said. And I found my home. He didn't have to ask. She didn't have to say yes. They already had. Behind the ranch, under an open sky, they were wed. No preacher, no altar, just love and wind. Caleb held the ring. The twins carried flowers. Neighbors stood silent, watching as Ida walked barefoot across the field, her scar shining like sunlight on stone. They once called her the beast in the sack. Now they called her bride. And Wes, with one arm around his wife and the other around his children, looked out across the land and nodded once, not to ask for approval, but to say, this is my family. This is my truth. Love had found them in the dust, raw, scarred, and beautiful, the kind of love that no storm could wash away.